There was a time when I found it hard to understand why so many smart candidates struggled that much with simple cases. They messed up with the numbers, they forgot what data they have versus what data they didn't have. They went in circles and approaches, they lost their tracks, and so many other problems. At the beginning, like many other coaches out there, I told them to practice more math, to work on their case flow, or think carefully about asking for data and other similar solutions. Well, they did get better, but really, really slowly. This actually made me think a lot. I'm not successful when my students are not successful. That's the time when I turn back to one of the guiding principles of management consulting and case interviews that I preach every day. You can even find it emphasized right at the beginning of our first video on case interviews. That is, we don't just fix the symptoms, we find and fix the root cause. And guess what? The root cause here was simply that those candidates did not take good notes. Hi, my name is Kim Tran, a former McKinsey consultant and the founder of the platform Management Consulting Prep. Today I'll be showing you the method accumulated from my own experience and from hundreds of sessions where I've coached some of the brightest people from Ivy League schools. Notice that there is more than one way to be right. You can be successful using a different approach than mine, but I hope that what you get out of this video is the spirit, not just the exact method that I'll explain. For those of you who don't have a clear idea yet on how your method should be, this is a really good place to start. So here is the method. In every case interview that I do, even before the case actually starts, I pull out 3 separate pieces of paper. On top of each piece, I write, not necessarily in big letters, but very clearly labeled each as, first, a data sheet, second, a presentation sheet, and third, a scratch sheet. As their name suggests, each sheet is clearly designated to a specialized task. The data sheet is where you note down neatly, and ideally in a table format, all of the information and data provided by the interviewer throughout the entire case. If you have any additional data as a result of the analysis or calculation performed, put them into the data sheet as well. The presentation sheet is literally what you use when speaking to interviewers. For example, if you say, problem A can be broken down into B and C, literally draw those on this sheet and point to each one of them as you speak. Lastly, the scratch paper is there for anything else that you might need to write down during the interview. Brainstorms, calculations, ideas, etc. The purpose of this sheet is to make the other 2 clear and neat. That way you don't have to worry too much about what you write on the scratch paper. Notice that these 3 sheets actually refer to groups or categories of sheets, not necessarily just 3 pieces of paper. If you run out of paper in each category, feel free to take out a new piece and label them as Data Sheet 2, Presentation Sheet 2, or Scratch Paper, whatever. Okay, so now let's do a fun example to demonstrate this method. You'll hear a piece of conversation in a simulated case interview. Please also pay attention to many other details regarding case interviews that we've been talking about throughout this whole video series. For example, framework, hypothesis, McKinsey, and some other tips on how to improve your performance, etc. Okay, candidate, thanks for coming out here for an interview today. The case today is about me. I'm a young and successful manager here at McKinsey. Everybody in the office loves me, the clients love me, my bosses love me, and are super satisfied, and it looks like I'm going to rise very fast. The only small problem I still have in my life is that I'm still single. How can you help me?
May I clarify the key objective of this case? So the client would like to get out of the single status and have a girlfriend, right?
Yes.
Is there a timeline or any specifications of the dream girlfriend?
Oh, definitely. The client needs to be in a relationship in no later than 3 months from now. And she needs to be a model.
Oh, okay. Looks like it's going to be a tough project.
What?
Oh no, I was just saying. First, I'd like to ask for a minute to draw a framework for this case. After that, I will work with you by going into each branch to find out the root cause of your problem. Following that, solutions will be recommended.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, what do I have here? This guy is single. His objective is to get into a relationship with a model. A real model in 3 months. Looking at this data that I have about him, all looks good. So, what could be the root cause? Is he too busy with work? Is he too short? Oh, no. I learned from M Consulting Prep to be top-down here. So maybe a top-down and McKinsey framework would be he wasn't trying hard enough, or he was just too bad to get a girlfriend. Okay, Mr. Interviewer, thank you for your patience. So in order to find out the root cause of your being single problem, I would like to explore 2 branches of a hypothesis. Number 1, you were not committed enough in the past to get a girlfriend. And number 2, you were not good enough to get a girlfriend. Unless you have any data pinpointing to something, my first hypothesis is that the root cause is under branch number 1.
Okay, fair enough.
So may I get a few data points to test this hypothesis?
Sure, what do you need?
Over the past year, how much time per week did you devote into getting a girlfriend?
I'd say about an hour a week.
Interesting. Doesn't seem like a lot, but to really understand, I would need to compare it with some benchmarks. So, of these guys who are dating models, how much time did they spend per week in the past to get those models?
That depends, but on average about an hour per week.
Interesting. Okay. So I think at this point I would like to modify my initial hypothesis. I would like to explore the second branch.
Okay, that sounds like an appropriate approach from the technical case interview standpoint. But from the personal standpoint, since you think I'm not attractive enough, sorry, I can't progress you to the next round. You just bombed this case.
Oh, no!
Thanks for coming, next! Okay, of course I'm just kidding. Case interviewers will not evaluate your performance like that. That was just a fun example, but I hope it helped demonstrate the note-taking method. If you find this video fun and helpful, please subscribe for a lot more coming up. If you have another good note-taking method, feel free to share it with everybody in the comments section below. Also, in the example above, you can see a brief glimpse of the tips and techniques section of our case interview end-to-end program. You'll see case interview examples with video demonstrations and with a lot of feedback from me. Because of the limit of the scope of this video, I just noted them in those little call-out boxes. But in the real program, you will hear those comments fully explained in the most easy-to-follow fashion. At Management Consulting Prep, we believe everybody can make it to consulting. Are you a believer?